Hey guys, my name is Serena. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to do something different. By the way, I'm still sitting on the ground because no tripod. I'm working on that. But I want to do something different today. I want to talk about something that I've been thinking lately. I really want to talk a little bit about the movies and TV shows that I've been watching lately. In this case, the movies and TV shows that I've watched this year so far, because this is the first video I'm doing about this. And I don't know if you guys are interested, but at least twice a year I really want to talk about the movies and TV shows that I watched. So let's just get right into it. Every time that I watch a movie or a TV show, I put a rating on IMDb for what concerns movies and TV Time for what concerns TV shows. So let's start with movies. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna talk a lot about each movie and each show because this video would be very long. I just want to talk about my feelings overall, maybe a little bit of a synopsis, nothing big because I don't want to spoil, and my rating, I don't know. The first movie that I've watched this year is 5 Feet Apart, and I watched this in March because in January and February I haven't watched anything, honestly. But this movie, it gave me a Fault in Our Stars vibes, and I know there is a book. I probably will never read this book. I watched the movie without reading the book. I've watched a few reviews about people who've read the book and watched the movie. I know that the ending is probably different, but overall I think that this is a cute movie. I'd give it a 3.5 star out of 5. Some parts I got very emotional and very anxious because some things were happening, but this is a story about two teenagers who have cystic fibrosis. They live in the hospital, they fall in love and all that. So next in March I watched Dumbo. When it comes to Disney remakes, I always have low expectations because nothing can beat the original in my opinion. And if I compare this movie, Dumbo, who I think the director was Tim Burton, so I was very interested in that. If I compare this movie to other Disney remakes that I've watched this year, and I'll talk about them in a bit, I have to say that this is my least favorite. Because, I don't know, it's the only time that I got emotional was when Dumbo flew. Every time that Dumbo flew, I got emotional, and that's it. I watched this with my cousin and my little cousin, so it was cute, and but nothing, memorable. So I think I'd give it like a 3 star, or yeah, 3 star. Next in March I watched Us, and I think the director, let me just check. The director is Jordan Peele. The main actress is Lupita Nyong'o, and I thought that she did an amazing job. This is a story about a family who goes on vacation and they meet their doppelgangers. And Lupita's character's doppelganger was creepy. Her voice was creepy. Yet again, there are not a lot of horror movies that make me actually scared. If you have any suggestions, tell me down below. But I thought that it was a cool movie. It definitely kept my attention more than other horror movies that I've watched in the past. So I think I'd give it a 3.5 star as well. The next one that I watched in March was After. Okay, so of course there's the book. I'm never gonna read the book. I watched a few reviews hilarious about the book, and I know that they're different. They made the movie less problematic probably, but I watched this with my cousin. She really wanted to watch it. I had a coupon, so I said whatever, I'll go watch it and laugh a bit. And yeah, while other people in the theaters were crying, I was laughing out loud. I tried not to, and cringing a lot. It's about this girl, this typical shy, reserved girl who goes to college and she meets a bad boy and things happen. So 2 stars. I had fun. Next I watched Ted Bundy, and I know that I discovered this afterwards. It's a movie on Netflix, but in Italy it came out in theaters and I watched it in the theaters, so I didn't know that. It's about this serial killer, Ted Bundy. It doesn't concentrate on his kills, you know? It's more about him and his charm. And to be honest, I didn't know about him for this movie. So watching the movie, I was like, is it him or is it not him, you know? Because they concentrated on his charm, and I thought that was very clever, because it's like they were showing us how he manipulated people into, you know, trusting him. I'd give this movie a 4, honestly. Zac Efron did an amazing job in acting, and Lily Collins as well. I thought that he did great. Next I watched Pet Sematary, and yet another underwhelming movie, honestly. It's about this family who moves to another home and has a pet cemetery in their property, and you know, things happen in that pet cemetery, and I like the ending. I like that it's not, you know, a happy ending. It will not stick with me, this movie, I feel. So I'd give it a 3 stars. It's an average movie, honestly. And of course, there's a book, Stephen King. I really want to read a lot more of Stephen King. Next, I watched one of my favorite movies of the year so far, and it's a Disney remake. It's Aladdin. You guys, I went especially after watching Dumbo, I went into watching this movie with low expectations. Low. And I came out of there like so shocked, and I thought that this was my favorite movie ever, and it's probably my favorite movie of the year so far, one of them. And Will Smith was hilarious. I think he did a great job in doing the genie. He did not copy the original genie. He made him his own, you know, and I thought he was hilarious and great. The 2 main characters, the actors who played Aladdin and Jasmine, were great as well. The music, the only thing is that I watched it in Italy and they changed the music into, you know, Italian, and I didn't like that because I watched this movie in English when I was a kid and I really wanted to sing along, but I guess I have to rewatch the movie in English one day. But it was amazing. I was like glued to the screen. I could not look away. The other movies that I watched the year previous to this one, you know, my attention wasn't 100%, but in this one I was like so happy watching. It's just my childhood, and I loved watching this remake, honestly. It was amazing, and I give it 5 stars. The next movie that I watched is Polaroid, and this is a horror movie. Yeah, yet again another average movie that I feel like I've seen before. It's about these kids in high school. One of the teenagers finds a Polaroid camera, and every time she takes a picture of someone, that person gets killed in the photo. So yeah, interesting concept. It wasn't bad, but I guess it was just average, so I'd give it a 3. Next I watched Stockholm, and the main actor is Ethan Hawke in this one, and one night I just really wanted to go to the movies and see a movie, and I read the synopsis of this movie, and it's basically the story of the Stockholm Syndrome, how it got the name, and I was interested, honestly. I was not expecting a comedy, and this is a comedy, honestly. it's not a heavy movie. It's not, you know, serious. Oh my god, um there is a bank robber and all that. It's hilarious, honestly. I enjoy it. I give it a 3.5 stars as well. And I never knew about the story of how the Stockholm Syndrome began. And if you don't know, it's if when someone gets kidnapped and falls for the kidnapper, you know, cares for the kidnapper. Not necessarily falls in love, but, you know, cares for him, you know. This is Stockholm Syndrome. Next, I watched The Professor with Johnny Depp, and another average movie. It was very philosophical. There were a lot of good speeches. It's about this professor who has cancer, and we follow a part of his life after discovering he has cancer. And I think he did an amazing job in acting, and it's just another 3.5 star for me. Next, I watched Spider-Man Homecoming, and guys, I have not watched Avengers Endgame. I have not watched, what is the second to last one? Age of Ultron? No, it's not Age of Ultron. Maybe, yeah, Infinity War. I have not watched Infinity War. And I have to catch up with the Marvel movies, definitely. But I really wanted to watch this one because it came out in my birthday week, so I had a free ticket, and this was the only movie I was interested in. I watched the first one, Homecoming, so I could watch Far From Home, but I got a huge spoiler at the beginning of the movie, so do not watch this movie if you have not watched, I guess, the other Marvel movies, because they're all connected. And I'm definitely planning on watching all the movies that I have not watched this summer. So yeah, but I like the second one more than the first one, and I love that it's concentrated on Peter Parker more than Spider-Man, you know. And it was so fun to see him in high school and them traveling. I mean, is this a real thing that in high school they bring kids to all over Europe? I don't think that happens really, especially in high school, but I enjoyed seeing them all over Europe. And the villain was great. I didn't expect that, so if you know what I mean. But it was an enjoyable movie. I'd give it 4 stars. We're almost done with the movies, guys. Last 2 movies are Isn't It Romantic? I watched this movie on the plane here from Italy, and you know, when I was on the plane, I slept. It was a 9-hour trip, and I slept like 7.5 hours out of 9, and the last hour and a half I watched this movie. A cute movie. It's about this character who is played by Rebel Wilson that doesn't believe in romantic comedies and romantic stories, but one day she bumps her head and suddenly she wakes up in a romantic comedy, and it's funny. It's just that average movie. I'd give it like a 2.5 maybe, but it was cute. Nothing great, if you know what I mean, but it was cute. It was a cute airplane movie. Last movie that I've watched this year so far, and I watched it the other day here, is The Lion King. It's another Disney remake, and thank goodness that I watched it here in America because the songs were in English and I really wanted to listen to the songs in English. I thought that this movie was great. I didn't have high expectations again because I was thinking, how are they gonna make animals look realistic, you know? You know what I mean? But I guess that technology is amazing these days. So I think that they did an amazing job. There were some times that I thought that the voice actors were a little bit off, but yet again, I was glued to the screen. I love Pumbaa and Timon. They were hilarious. And yeah, I give it 4.5 4.5, let's say, or 5. Yeah, I don't know. My two favorite movies of this year so far are Aladdin and The Lion King. So 2 Disney remakes. For what concerns TV series, TV shows, I have not completed a lot of seasons. I started Mr. Robot. I think that I completed Outlander, the 4th season. What was the last season that came out? Anyway, I'm not sure if I finished it at the beginning of the year or at the end of last year, but I loved it. I love Outlander. I continued on with This Is Us, but the 2 seasons that I've actually completed, and I'm sure that I completed this year so far, are Game of Thrones season 8 and Stranger Things season 3. So Game of Thrones season 8, I'm not going to talk about it because I have 2 videos about it. I will link them down below if you're interested. But for what concerns Stranger Things, part 3, season 3, I thought it was great. I love Stranger Things. You know, my favorite thing about Stranger Things is it's actually the aesthetic. I love anything that has to do with, you know, past times, the 80s, 70s, whatever. I love the style. I don't know. I really would just want to go back in time for a weekend, I don't know, and try living that way. Just, you know, to come back the week after. But, you know, I love the aesthetic and I love this show, honestly. I loved every season, but I have to say that the last season, the 3rd season, I really enjoyed more than the second one, I feel. I don't remember much of the second season. I have to rewatch the show, but it's just a feeling that I have. I feel like I've enjoyed this last season more than the previous one. I don't feel like explaining what happens because it's the 3rd season, but I've watched it in 2 days and I really enjoyed it. I love all the cast and things happened. I don't want to spoil. I don't know how to talk about this season without spoiling things, so let's just not talk about it. I just wanted to say that I watched it, I loved it, and you know, 5 stars. Anyway guys, those are all the movies and TV shows that I've watched this year so far. I can't wait to watch a lot more in the second half of the year. What were your favorite movies / TV shows? Let me know down below, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. I know it's not bookish, but as I said, at least twice a year I want to talk about the movies and TV shows that I really enjoyed, or watched in general. I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.